Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Friday. I hope you're having a fantastic week in the lead up, obviously, with Christmas next week. Lots of cool stuff happening, and hopefully, you're on the wind down. I know I like to keep things pretty steady up until probably about now, and it's been a truly exciting year, and obviously, to reflect on our goals or where we've come from or how we've grown this year is also vitally important, too. Hey, Di, great to have you on, honey. Say hi if you're jumping on. Send me some love because it's Friday and I love love on Friday. But obviously today I really want to chat more about what keeps us stuck and how do we actually move beyond that as well. Hey Em, hey Ricky, great to have you guys on. What keeps us stuck? And it can be one of those really frustrating, infuriating things. Hey Mel, great to have you on, hun. Where really, we get so frustrated with where we're at. We know we need to make a decision. We're not making the decisions that we need to because we're looping. Like generally, we're going round and round in circles. And generally, if there's a problem or there's something that you're needing to resolve or a decision that needs to be made, the reason why we're actually not making that decision is because we believe that the outcome will produce an inner conflict in some way. So either, I'm going to throw out some kind of basic examples here as well, which is really like if we need to make perhaps a decision in financially, and but the longer that we put off that decision, the worse the problem gets. And I've been reading The Road Less Traveled as well. I definitely recommend it by Scott Peck. Just a brilliant book, and particularly talks about the developmental stages as we're a child, the 4 things that we really need to take care of and start to learn and implement. And if you actually didn't get those lessons from your parents for various reasons, taking these on board as an adult is so super important. And the first thing he speaks about is discipline, and how really, not to be negative, but knowing full well that life can be difficult at times. And I think we can tend to shy away from that. We want to hide from the pain, particularly if there's been a problem there for a while, and we're like just continue to bury our head in the sand, or we don't want to actually deal with that problem. And the problem with that is that our problem we're able to overcome our problems, or we feel so scared about our problems, that can really impact our self-confidence and our ability to continue to grow and continue to evolve as well. Hey Sandra, hey Louisa, hey Ange, great to have you guys on. So this is where we can really get stuck as well, is when we're avoiding problems. And it really comes back to that level of discipline within ourselves and the willingness to confront the pain of actually going, God, this is difficult, or this is hard, and I actually need to make a decision around that. Now, what blocks us from that is the need for certainty, or what could be, obviously there can be lots of different things kind of going on, but it's the need for certainty which generally keeps people stuck, because making a decision also means actually acting on it, or it can mean, it doesn't necessarily mean. People have thought that they've made a decision in their mind, but when they make a real decision, generally it's like, oh crap, now I actually need to deal with this, now I actually need to do something about this. Hey Ange, great to have you on. So this is where things really can, I guess, heat up as well, because what I was speaking about before, if we believe that there's an inner conflict, so even making a basic decision around finances or around a relationship or around improving our health and well-being, if we believe it's going to take too much time, or we're going to lose the approval of somebody that we love or care about, or even loss of love, all of those things can come into play. And the mind, we tend to feel pulled in multiple directions, and it really dilutes down the power of being able to choose what it is that we actually really want. And so as we move through that, hey Bev, great to have you on. As we move through that, like being able to make that really conscious choice, the first thing is about that need for certainty. And so the mind, if it can't feel certain about something, it's going to want to dodge that. The mind craves, the ego survival mind craves certainty, it craves security, it craves comfort. And even if it's so detrimental to our well-being. But if it's familiar, the mind will be kind of okay with that, even though it's not okay. But there'll be a kind of, hey Chris, hey Ange, great to have you guys on. The mind will, it's kind of like a security blanket. It's like, oh, just pull that up and pull that over my head and just hope that, you know, that goes away. But the problem with that is obviously we're still not dealing with the real issue. And so the mind will hang on to the problem because it's meeting one or more of the 6 human needs. And one of those needs obviously is the need for certainty. So if it feels uncertain by making a decision, which of course is going to be producing change and producing uncertainty, move towards that and make that decision and then act on that. But if you feel like you can't make a decision easily, it'll be because of all these inner conflicts and the pain of losing certainty. And if anybody's gone through, you know, major life changes and things like that, you'll know that that is a really uncertain time. I know when my marriage fell apart and my mum passed away, you know, my whole world shifted so fast. You know, everything as it was no longer. Friendships changed, everything changed, you know, things that I didn't think would change changed. Hey Stephen, great to have you on. So this is where, you know, being able to embrace uncertainty is absolutely paramount. But the other things that can keep us stuck, so I'll just run through the 6 human needs really quickly. And the 6 human needs really like come back to the need for certainty, so comfort, security, knowing things are going to be okay. It's also uncertainty as well, because guess what? If we knew that everything was going to be okay all of the time, we would actually be bored, right? So, you know, we all have that need for uncertainty. We need that variety, that change, that risk, that adventure, that challenge. The other thing that comes up is we have that need for significance, to know that we're unique, we're important, we're special, that we're going to stand out. Sometimes, you know, that may not be so evident for people, but we need to know that we're important and unique and special. The other need that we have is love and connection with others. And then we also have growth and contribution. Now, just depending on kind of where you're at or what out of those 6 human needs you value the most. I know for me, I value growth the most, which is incredibly uncertain, but also gives me a sense of certainty because I know that my life will continue to improve if I continue to grow as well. So this is how we can start to, I guess, contemplate or create greater self-awareness for ourselves. You know, what need am I trying, by not making a decision, by avoiding making this decision, what needs am I actually trying to meet in an unresourceful way? And, you know, like when I learned this stuff, it blew my mind, because when I realized everything that I did, every decision that I made came back to how am I meeting one or more of those 6 human needs. And even if it was detrimental, this is where like we can get out of integrity in our life. It's where, say, you know, like emotional eating comes up, smoking, drinking, gambling, like all of those activities are ways of trying to meet the 6 human needs, but generally in a pretty unresourceful way. So we need to have the courage to embrace uncertainty. Now, I know that might sound like a simple kind of words to say, and of course much harder to act on, but any movement forward is a movement forward. Now, you might have already heard, you know, it's much harder to move a boulder if it's standing still, and I couldn't agree more. It's much easier to change direction once we're moving, if we make the decision, and you know, we can generally like tap the ball to change directions, or tap the boulder to change directions once it's got momentum. But the problem with being stuck and not making a decision is we become so stuck in a rut, we become so lethargic and apathetic and powerless in our ability to be able to make the decisions that we actually need to. And it really does take true courage. I actually wrote a blog post about this the other day. You may want to jump back to my personal page and check it out, simply because the people that are free in life are the ones that have the courage to take risk. And everything is a risk, even speaking up for ourselves, or using our voice, or saying what it is that we'd like or what we need. That's true vulnerability. It's true risk, because we're risking the other person not approving us. We're risking a change in a relationship. We're risking, things being stable for a while. We're risking all of that, and it drives the ego survival mind crazy. And so the next step to this, so we've got to have the courage to risk, and to be able to have the discipline to actually confront and face our problems head on. And it really is about stepping up and maturing as an adult as well. I know I fought that for so long. I didn't want to make the decisions. I would blame everybody else. I would make everybody else responsible for the way that my life was turning out, because at least if it was messed up, it wasn't my fault, right? Not very resourceful. And I think, we can all do that at times in our life. I can put my hands up lots of times. When true change has happened, it's when I've taken full responsibility, when I've stopped blaming others, when I've stopped blaming my circumstances. It was really easy to blame, my ex-husband, or even the death of my mum as to why I was feeling the way that I was, and why, I was living the way that I was. No, that was my responsibility. That was my choice. I'd made every single one of those decisions in the way that I allowed that to impact me, in the person who I'd become that allowed all of those situations to occur. And obviously, the death of my mum was out of my control, but still, at the end of the day, how I was choosing to respond to that, either resourcefully or not resourcefully, was my decision. That was my choice. That was my responsibility. And so we can take any event in life and we can make any meaning that we want, but are you making it a disempowering meaning in, I'm a bad person, or I'm wrong, or I'm, unworthy of love now, or I'm undeserving of great things? Or what is it that you're making things mean, and what is a new empowering meaning? We make up the story of our life, the whole life. Like, it is literally our perspective, and depending on whether we've trained our mind to look for the positives or to reframe things in a positive way, how is this a gift? How is this a strength? How could I use this now to improve my life? Like, I feel so grateful. Obviously, I'd have my mum back in a heartbeat if I could, but without those experiences, I wouldn't value love at the level that I do. I wouldn't want to make a difference in the world. I wouldn't actually have had the opportunity to learn, oh my God, I have no clue how to actually love myself and to embrace that, because I was relying very heavily on external validation and external love, which left me very up and down emotionally as well. So when I got these, they were hard lessons for me at the time, but God, they just built so much resilience in me. So it's really, and sometimes we don't get the blessing until maybe 6 months, 12 months. It took me 2 years. It wasn't like I was immediately grateful for all of those circumstances. It took me a good couple of years of really working through things, and then starting to make the decisions. And we think that it's the big decisions that we really struggle with. If you struggle with even making a small decision and sticking to that, that's where your work is. It's deciding, to go for that 5-minute walk. It's deciding to have that extra glass of water instead of another coffee. It's deciding, to put the $10 away instead of buying a lotto ticket. Like, it's all those small decisions that we think are so inconsequential, that we think don't matter, don't make a difference. They all compound. They all add up over time. Thanks, Bridget. Great to have you on, hun. Hey, Sharon. Lovely to see you. Hey, Alicia. Or not to see you, but to have you on here. So it's all of those decisions, guys, that really do add up day to day. And it's over time, what I've learned is it's not about the quick fix. But when we are in a place of pain, and this is what stops so many people from actually taking the action that they need to, even a small tiny step forward, because it's like we're in such a place of pain that we feel like we want the immediate solution. And in my experience, it's never happened that way. If you're overweight, if you're in a bad relationship, if you're not creating the money that you want, or maybe you're in not too bad of a place but you're looking to really improve things, I can promise you, I have wasted so much money on the quick fix. I've looked for, because I've been in a place of pain, and I totally get it. I wanted that change so immediately. But what I find, even if I do get results fast, they're not sustainable, because I actually haven't built it in. I haven't become the person that I needed to in order to be able to create the daily routines and the daily habits and the daily consistent things that actually need to happen in order to continue that in a sustainable way as well. So this is, it really is important to come back to, number one, get clear. So it's, well, number one is having the courage to confront your problem head on. So actually to go, shit, I've got a problem. I actually really need to make some decisions around this. So it's the willingness to have the courage and to take the risk to create the change in the first place. So that's overcoming the mind's need for certainty. And the second part of this, and this is where I find that this actually helps the first part a little bit more, is getting clear on what it is that you actually really, really want. So it might be, you know, whether it is like a new relationship or a more empowered relationship, it mightn't be that you actually want to change, you know, partners or anything like that, but you want some changes. You want maybe more chemistry in your relationship, or you want to spend more time together, or any of those things. It might be, you know, financially, you want to be able to save more. You feel like you're creating a great income, but where's the money to show it? Like, so it could be like all of these things. So it's getting clear, what is your vision? What is your outcome that you're actually wanting to create? And the third part is, why do you want this? Now, this does a couple of different things. It actually brings you from your analytical mind that is craving certainty, that is craving security, and it gets you back into your heart, back into your soul, and actually making the decision from that true aligned place of going, oh my God, if I could have it that way, that would be amazing. Now, remember those inner conflicts that we spoke about. You will not take action if you are conflicted in any way. And this is where the limiting beliefs come in. Because literally, if we believe that in order to make more money, we have to work heaps harder, and we're already physically exhausted, we've already got no time with our family, or no time for ourselves, or we just like, I haven't got it in me, then of course you're never going to make the decision to actually take the action that you need to. Where we need to shift and change is the limiting belief of believing, to have one thing, I have to miss out on another. That is just a limiting belief. And I know for a client of mine, we literally almost doubled her income in 4 months, and in just a few sessions, which was so powerful for her. She felt like to make more money, she had to work more hours. She was already angry and resentful of her business because she was working hours. She didn't want to be working. It was impacting her family life, where she changed all that around, reduced her work hours, put them into the hours that she actually really wanted to be working, and that was the change. So quite often the block that you think is actually keeping you stuck because of the conflict, when you actually shift that from a blocked or limiting belief to an empowered belief of, wow, you know, I can actually create the money that I want and spend the time with my family that I'm wanting to, then the whole game changes. Suddenly we become really inspired. We want to take action. Can you feel how it pulls us forward and moves us forward in such a powerful way as well? So, hey Jerry, great to have you on. So this is so powerful in being able to, your why will help your ego survival mind align with the largest part of you, your heart and soul, which already knows it's possible, which already knows you can have, be, do anything that you desire. And that might sound like a bit of a far-fetched dream. I truly believe in it though. I've changed my life so radically over the last 10 years, literally taking myself from, you know, $20,000 income to well over, you know, creating very healthy 6-figure income. So, you know, and that's just financially, that's not my body, that's not relationships, that's not anything else. My living or my lifestyle, like any of that, I was working very, very hard and long hours at the time. I'm working a lot less hours these days, and but being able to impact more and add more value in a really powerful way as well. Hey Adam, great to have you on. So this is so powerful. So number one, courage to confront and face your problems head on. Number two is know what you want. Get clear. What is it that you want? A lot of what keeps us stuck is we are in such a paralyzed place of fear. We can't help but look at what's actually happening and continue the, oh my God, this is just going to get worse, or this is getting worse. And we continue to recreate the same situation. We must be willing to change our focus, our direction, and our perspective. Ask yourself a powerful question: what do I want instead? If you are stuck in a situation that you're not happy with, and overcoming that need for certainty, knowing full well growth is going to be uncomfortable, growth is going to be changed, it is going to be uncertain. But even asking yourself the question, if I don't make a decision on this, like where am I going to be 6 to 12 months from now? The problem is not going away, guys. You need to really step into, hey Nini, great to have you on, really need to step into that ownership, that responsibility. Like I said, I really struggled with that for a long time, but that was when my life changed, was when I took full ownership, full responsibility for where my life was currently at, or where that life area, whether it was my health, whether it was relationships, whether it was finances, any of that stuff, where I was currently at, and embrace that. And then why do you want what you want? That's going to bring you back into your heart. That's going to inspire you. That's going to get you emotionally connected and give you emotional fuel to be able to move forward. It's tough when we're making those changes, and to be able to have the emotional revenue or the emotional fuel to continue moving us forward in imagining, oh my God, yes, this is what I'm looking for. This is what's going to light me up. This is what's going to be amazing. And then stepping forward, overcoming the limiting beliefs, or even recognizing the limiting beliefs, writing your new story the way that you want it. They are the steps to really getting unstuck and being able to move forward. Now, obviously, you know, there can be a lot of other things going on in the background as well with that. I know when I'm physically exhausted, physically drained, it takes a lot of energy to create change. So that could be something that's really impacting you as well, is if you're exhausted and burn out. And what I find is if we've felt in a powerless situation or in an apathetic state for such a long period of time, it will be massively impacting you physically as well. Because it's a resistance to our own good. It's a resistance to being able to move forward and feel really aligned. And it's like doing this for such a long time. And of course, you know, the harder you push, the more exhausted you become, but you don't get anywhere either. So that really can impact your physical body. So even creating small, simple changes like I spoke about, that doesn't have to be a massive decision. Just what's one thing that could take me one small step closer towards what I'm wanting today? It's a powerful question to ask yourself. The more that you act on that, the more that you follow through, the more that builds that self-belief, that self-love, that confidence, and that starting to show up for yourself. It's where we really, you know, can keep us stuck, is if we're blaming situations, we're not sticking to our own agenda, we're not showing up for ourselves. And saying, you know, I've got to take care of everybody else, or everybody else needs me to do this or that or anything else. That is also going to keep us stuck. Again, that goes back to meeting one or more of the 6 human needs, needing certainty in our relationship, needing love and approval. We've got to do that for ourselves first, guys. So hopefully that's been helpful. I have been a bit ranty this morning, but it is something that I'm truly passionate about. We can all get stuck at times, not making the decisions that we actually truly need to. The more awareness you have around what it is that you're wanting, and am I actually moving towards that each day, and are my daily habits supporting that? Again, 3 great questions to really ask yourself to move yourself forward. The quality of your questions will be impacting your life massively. Things that also keep people stuck are, why is my life like this? And you're looking for all the reasons why you're stuck. We can spend a lot of time looking at why we are where we are. It's actually not going to serve you. I've spent so much time trying to figure it out, because it's almost like, well, I don't want to ever end up back here again. But all that we're actually doing is we're focused so intently on the problem that we continue recreating the problem again and again, because it's the same level of thinking that actually created the problem in the first place. We've got to be able to ask ourselves new powerful questions. Hey Lisa, great to have you on, babe. Got to be able to ask ourselves new powerful questions which actually take us towards the solution that we're wanting to create. So how can I create the changes that I need to in my life? What is it that I'm looking for? What would I like instead? And how can I now create that? So they can be some really powerful ways as well. But I hope that's been truly, truly helpful for you. I am definitely not the quick fix coach. I am not about quick fixes. Heading into New Year's, obviously there's going to be loads of noise in the marketplace about get the program, lose the weight in 2 weeks, or the quick the quick diet, or the quick way to make $1 million, or any of that stuff. In my experience and with a lot of the mentors that I work with, they've never believed in that. It is generally a very long, consistent process. And when I say long, it doesn't have to be like a super long period of time, but we generally overestimate what we can do in 12 months and completely underestimate what we can do in 10 years. But it really is. Thanks, Rick. Great to have you on, and have a great Chrissy as well. But it really is that long, the consistent changes and the habits that we make by who we become in the process. We need to become disciplined. We need to be courageous. We need to be willing to embrace uncertainty, to ask ourselves the hard questions, to be truly honest with ourselves and with others as well. Hey, Linda, great to have you on, hun. They're going to be the things that actually really move us forward in a powerful way. So if you are looking at creating long-term, sustainable, maintainable results that really do create exponential change over time, and this is what's challenging, is because we all want quick results, right? Because then that's what gives us that dopamine hit. That's what gives us that reward feeling of, yes, this is working, this is worth it. But a lot of the time it really does feel like, you know, a bit of a plateau. It's like nothing's happening. It's kind of like watching grass grow. You know, you can sit there for a long time watching, you know, the grass come up. If you're watching it every day, it feels like nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden you look out your front window and there's lawn there. And you're like, how did that happen? Because like I was watching it, nothing was happening, but then it becomes this massive exponential bell curve. And if any of you have heard of obviously the compound effect, even with interest, it can feel like a very, very slow process. And there's a great book, The Compound Effect, by I think that's by Darren Hardy. I would highly recommend that. The Slight Edge, again, by Jeff, I can't remember Jeff's last name now, but again, another powerful effect just to show and demonstrate the consistent decisions that we make and the daily habits that actually show up. Thank you so much, Lisa. You're gorgeous. But it really is about the long-term process, guys. Like I said, I've wasted so much money attempting the quick fix because I was in a true place of pain, and I get that. I understand that. We want to move as quickly as possible, and it's also about building the pillars of foundations that are really going to serve you for the rest of your life in these areas. And I know for me, that's what's really helped me become so solid in my ability to be able to make more and more difficult decisions, to make greater and greater choices that move me and up level me to the next level, because I've already built those foundations. And I know that at any point, yes, I might fall flat on my face, and that's okay, because I've got those strong foundations that help me pick myself up and keep right on going. Whereas if we've not built those foundations, it's really wobbly, it's really scary starting to create change. So we need to start at a smaller level and build up to that as well. So hope that's been helpful. Lots of love to you all. Have an amazing, amazing Christmas, New Year, and can't wait to see you guys in 2019. And if you are looking for, you know, if anything that I've said has really resonated and you're looking to create that long-term sustainable change, by all means, please reach out to me. Let's have a conversation about where you're at, where you're wanting to go in 2019, and create some really amazing goals for you to really be celebrating this time next year, going, oh my God, 2019 was such an amazing, amazing year. I'm so proud of the person that I've become. I'm so proud of the action that I've taken and the changes that I've created in my life. Lots of love. Merry Christmas. Bye.